Okay, I hope this isn't totally wrong. Just too much narcissistic that watch me watch TV while I just talk in a free association way. I think it's okay. So, anyways, I'm making some lasagna. I just can't even talk about it. But maybe I should. Maybe that's the sign that you're supposed to talk about it. And it's a deep issue. And the issue is if I'm being as spiritual as possible, I get that by not eating. And I'm trying to get my meat sauce ready and my red sauce ready and my cheese sauce ready. And I need to be tasting that to salt it. Did I turn the microphone on? Oh no, okay. Oh yeah. I have to make sure the volume is down, otherwise. Oh my goodness. Well, anyways, I got a letter and I was feeling out of it. I was feeling like retarded in the bad way. And the way I found out I was retarded is usually after I fart, I go, ooh. Or after I burp or anything. And I was pretending to go, ooh, because I couldn't do it. I lost my magic. So it suddenly became lame. It was like, that's not me. I'm just pretending to be me, but I'm not even me anymore. That was so fucked up. That was like super fucked up. But then there's certain people who I'm like, oh, I better be on my best behavior with you because I don't want to fuck it up with you. And with those people, I'm a different person. And one of those people I just got a letter from. So I'm on that dimension that I'm happy and like awesome feeling. And then another one, I don't really want to go into my personal business too much, but I texted by accident and then to say I got your letter. And then I was like, oh, I thought I was talking to someone else. And then I was like, but check out this letter. And that person is really someone who, if you're retarded, she'll be like, you're retarded. Like, she'll say that in front of everyone. And so I'm always like, I better definitely be awesome around her. But I don't feel like I'm retarded or something. I just think that she knows. If you're retarded, she knows. And I don't like it if I'm retarded and someone else knows. Even if the person is me too. I don't like being retarded. So I got retarded because I did too much. I did just too much. I got too high. And, I had a few episodes of embarrassing myself, which were therapeutic as well. Part of me wants to stick up for that part of me and say that shameful mistake part of you that was embarrassing yourself and stupid and retarded and actually retarded in the bad way. That was really what you needed because you're a moralist Puritan, control freak, and you don't like letting yourself feel bad on any level. And you had to just be bad and be like, okay, I'm bad. It doesn't even matter. Get over myself. I'm not even making any significant point by being bad. But it was also embarrassing. I also wouldn't want to repeat that. So it's not a matter of restraint. I was thinking with getting higher or cranking your pecker, it's not a matter of jonesing for it unless you're totally repressed. And if you're not repressed, then you wouldn't be able to choose when you have an orgasm. because it would only happen on the spontaneity of the moment. And feeling like I'm jonesing for it. I'm just so out of characterly horny. It's just a real burden, like that. I don't know. Probably a lot of people will say, that's not a burden, that's a joy. Well, anyway, if you're choosing when to get an orgasm, you're a pervert. Okay, that's pretty extreme. I don't know if I'd say that. I'd say that maybe like I'm high right now. Maybe I'd say I'm like, I'd follow up right after I say that. I'd say, by the way, I'm high right now, just because my sober self is saying later on when you're sober, you're not going to say, that's something you're not going to say. But I'm like, but I will say it, and I'm valid too. Like, I have feelings. I'm here. Like, I'm not less awesome than you. I'm not like less valuable than you just because I'm stupid and like retarded or, too high and wrong and rude and bad. And if you think otherwise, you're repressed and you're imagining things, I'll bet. I know. And so I'm watching mountain biking and I just feel like I have to shut up. I feel too much full of myself for filming myself watching TV. It's just too much. And I even forget the people who I best be on my best behavior with. When I get high enough, I forget about everyone and I go to this place where, you know how depending on the audience, you change how you feel and how you are? I feel like I get to a point where that stops happening and I just go into my own world, which means being, I don't know, an idiot or abrasive or a wonderful delight with no bad undertones whatsoever, or with some bad undertones that somehow you're resented for it, punished for it, gaslit for it. Oh yeah, so you should be able to feel your tension. Like, for example, my foreskin is like an accordion and I'm doing something, either stretching it or squishing it. And but it's in unison with the situation around me. So I'm like, not just suddenly gonna start busting a nut. And then I feel this energy that goes from my foreskin up my body to my head. And I call that my spirit body. And if you don't have a spirit body, I think you are in big trouble. And you do have it, but you got to find it. And I don't know if I even have it. except for sometimes. Sometimes I say, I definitely have it, and this is definitely what it is. And I'm completely sure. And, well, then I get a little too drunk. And then I forget. But it basically feels like the orgasm goes up, and that makes it not sexual. And that makes the energetic body. The energetic body starts where the orgasm ends. And the orgasm is self-completing all of the way. I don't know if that... Well, I'd say, yes, I do know, if that makes sense. That makes sense. I was kind of thinking about stuff, and if all of stuff is in everything, I wonder if you take... Do you know what I mean? Is that like, if you take like anything and make it the smallest thing that you know how to make it, and then does everything in existence exist in that thing? And so if it does, and if an orgasm is like that it's complete every step of the way, then at the very completion of the orgasm, that's when you know that there's like, two completions. One, your self-aware view of yourself when you see it, and one, you're sweating and huffing and puffing and shaking self. And then that's when spirituality happens. At that point. Anyways, so that's heavy. I'm into heavy talk, but I'm also into lasagna noodles. I basically don't want to salt my noodles. And I also added diced raw zucchini into the meat sauce. And it's just like into the meat. This is not even meat sauce. And I'm going to have to bake that at 400 for like 25 minutes. I don't know if the zucchini is going to cook. And I'm not going to salt my lasagna noodles. And I'm going to have to taste the red sauce, the cheese, and the meat sauce. And I don't know if I should do that once now and then once in an hour, and then to kind of give my resetting time. And I also don't want to eat because I'm way more high when I don't eat. And I'm also taking better care of myself. It's really hodgepodge. But I'm saying just be totally extreme. Like, normally I wouldn't smoke weed twice, especially so, I would smoke weed twice, but I would space it out more. And this morning I smoked weed twice. But the second time I smoked, I was about to eat food. And I was like, no, don't do that. And I was like, well, I want to. So, what's the alternative? That I'm just going to be hungry and suffer? And like, as if that's some kind of good thing. You're going to count suffering as spirituality, but you won't admit it's suffering. And so I was like, fuck that. Eating is definitely what to do. And I was like, well, what about smoking? Don't you want to get higher and just drink more water? I mean, not as a burden. There's this weird schizophrenic way of drinking water where you're like, oh, I hate drinking water, but I really want to smoke. So I'll force myself to drink this water, which I hate, and then I'll go smoke, and that'll be my reward. Okay, that's insane. So I was like, can I really, get off on drinking this water? Can it really be the true middle path that I thought just being hungry was? Yeah, so I was like smoking again, getting really high, having good karma so my trip doesn't go into the negative, because there's huge dips, there's huge distance, there's huge way to fall if you get high, or I think especially though, if you get good at meditating, if you learn how to meditate and then you get high and then you get super high and then you get low again, and it's a long way to fall. And it's like demoralizing and fucked up. And so, well, that's usually why I quit weed, I think. And it's expensive, but, and there's a better way. Weed reminds me of, its name would be Mr. Right Now. And Mr. Right is good too, but so is Mr. Right Now. But I'd want both. If I knew both existed, I'd say I want both. So, I pretty much know how to make a spaghetti. I make the same spaghetti sauce every time. I know how to do that. I don't need to check the salt. But this one has this cheese in it, and I don't know how to do that. And I don't want to taste it ahead of time. And I don't want to ask anyone to taste it for me, because I don't trust anyone else. They'll say it's good when it needs a lot more salt. And so I don't even know why I did this. I was just obsessive or something. I put garlic powder and onion powder and, well, our special spice mix. But I particularly like that those two powders are in it, and a whole bunch of herbs into the cheese. And I was planning on salting it first to make it as pure as possible, to get the right salt amount. And then I just went and added all those stupid herbs and spices. Why did I do that? Because I just wanted to shake it up and smell it and look at it. And I added a lot. I added so much. I said, yeah, do it. Just keep adding more. I was saying it's too much. ChatGPT said that's going to make it bitter. I was like, who cares? Just keep doing it. It's in cream, so that's going to mask the bitterness. You're not putting them in the meat sauce, and you're not putting them in the red sauce. That's how much you want. So I was like, okay. Yes, sir, whoever the fuck you are. And then I shook it up. It was bubbling, and it was all tangy from the one before. I added super too tangy leftovers to not tangy at all new cream, and it balanced out perfectly, I think, as for how it smells. And now it's in the fridge, so it's not culturing anymore. and I put psyllium husk in it, and so over the hours it's going to change to be more of a condensed, I don't want to say gel, but more hardened, so it has the mouthfeel of cheese. It's not like a gel. It's kind of, I don't know, fucked up a bit because I started putting protein powder in it, so it has more of a texture of cottage cheese. But we have a poor person blender, so the protein powder is too grainy. But then it was only too grainy, and the last time I made it, which I used like 2 tablespoons of oil. And then this time the recipe said like 6 tablespoons of oil. And it also said that the graininess will be masked by being encapsulated with fat and adding fat and, fillers like tapioca starch and psyllium husk powder. What was I talking about? This is too much. This is too much heavy for me. I just can't even remember. Something about my cheese, maybe. Well, it was good cheese. I had a really good cheeseburger. I tried to make custard, but it was a bit too tangy, I think, by then. I think it's at 21 minutes. I have a friend who would, if I'm correct on that, I have a friend who would appreciate that. He and I used to try to see who could see things the furthest away. I was like, to the dogs, I yelled at them. I was really proud of myself. I was like, get out of here. Get out of here. Or something. I can't even do an impression, but I made them get out of the living room. And it was really magical because they were barking. I got them to stop barking by just kicking them out of the living room and just telling them authoritatively, I'm really proud, telling them authoritatively that they're not allowed in the living room. And then they just eventually, within a couple times, they stopped trying to even go in the living room. And then the person was gone, and then they stopped barking. And I had taken their collars off as a sign of love and respect. And therefore I felt like it was my right to demand that same level back from them. And so I was like, get the fuck out of here. And especially disgruntled employee who's more disturbed than boss lady by a lot. You just don't see it. She is employee after all. Disgruntled employee is that little guy who lives on the Warrior in the Thunderdome in Mad Max. And boss lady is the big guy who he rides on his shoulders. Anyway, do you like my clothes? I'm wearing blue now. It's not, it's not like I normally wear any particular color. It just happens to be blue. I mean, I was looking for a hat, and this is the one I found. And then I was looking for a shirt, and this is the one I found. They both were blue, and I thought, well, that looks nice. It's not something I would choose, but I like it. I don't think I really need to taste the tomato sauce. I know what to do. But the cheese sauce, I have no idea. I don't know where to start, and I would not even reference Miyoko. But in her defense, I made her recipe by the book, by her book, or her YouTube video, which is in her book. And I did 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And I turned the salt shaker onto a spoon, which was a teaspoon sitting kind of at an angle on the stove. And that's how I did my measurement. So it was kind of in a pile. I didn't flatten it or anything. It may not have been enough salt. It may not have been what she said. But if it was, I needed to add a lot more salt in the form of bouillon, which I wouldn't do again. Definitely would never add bouillon to liquid mozzarella. I would only add salt. Why? Because when I only added salt, it tasted like President's Choice macaroni and cheese white cheddar. When I added bouillon, it tasted like a gravy. And I thought, oh great, I just wasted everything. And so I pretty much got an Alfredo and congealed it into a ricotta with psyllium husk and tapioca starch. I'm excited about it. I'm so excited about it. I don't want to eat. I don't want to ruin that. I want to be totally starved by the time. Everything goes wrong once you start eating. All your dreams vanish. All your dreams of who you could be become irrelevant. Just, yeah, I'll do it later, obviously. Just stop eating. Well, I don't know about that. I could make exceptions. If I ate something healthy, I would say go ahead and eat. In fact, that would even be better. The best thing to do would be to eat something healthy, but the worst thing to do would be to graze. But it's not like I'm trying to be healthy. I'm also happy to not eat because I want the meal to be sensational. So it's fun. I don't want to not do the meal justice. I feel like I should sing a song. Not really doing anything else. So many fish there in the sea. I wanted him, he wanted me. That's just a phase, it's gotta pass. I was a train moving too fast. So many fish there in the sea. I wanted her, he wanted me. That's just a phase, it's gotta pass. I was a train moving too fast. So many fish there in the sea. I wanted you wanted me. That's just a phase, it's got to pass. I just can't even sing right now. So many fish there in the sea. I wanted you, he wanted me. That's just a phase, it's gotta pass. No, it's just not the right moment. I think what I really want to do is this one. He was impressed by the way you came in. Tell us a story, I know you're not boring. I was afraid that you would not insist. You sound so angry, just calm down, you found me. So please don't slow me down if I'm going too fast. And you're in a strange part of our town. Yeah, the night's not over, you're not driving fast enough. Our lives changing lanes and da 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 da. The moon is on fire and she's fixing her hair. You sound so angry, just calm down, you found me. So please don't slow me down from going too fast. You're in a strange part of our town. Yeah, the night's not over, you're not driving fast enough. Our lives changing lanes and you ran me off the road. came in. Tell us. Well, that was much better. I'm not gonna give it a break. I'm not your friend. I never was. I said now wait. I'm not gonna give it a break. I'm not your friend. So many fish there in the sea. I wanted you, you wanted me. That's just a train, it's got a pair.